sometimes manufacturers don't actually do anything from their bikes from the previous year. They might just add some new colour schemes, and that's what's happened for this year. So 2026 BMW R1300 GS. This is the trophy edition, and it's nothing different from 2025. So if you do want to see all the full stats and figures, then I'll put a link in that description box below. But for me today, this is just coming revisiting this girl, because I haven't ridden it in a year. So really, this is just an excuse for me to get out, enjoy the lovely weather, enjoy a great bike, and hopefully enjoy some great roads. A short blast on the motorway reminds me of two things about the 1300. One, I love having the adaptive windscreen, just being able to put it up when I get on the motorway and then drop it when I get off. Super handy. And then the second one is the adaptive cruise control. You get so used to having it in the car that actually when you jump on a bike with it, you remind yourself of how useful it is on the bike as well. Now this demo bike is on the standard seat, and it does have the adaptive ride height. Now I'm 6'1", and yeah, the adaptive ride height is handy for those shorter riders, but for someone like myself, I just turn it off. I don't need to be flat-footed on both feet with a bend in the legs. I don't need it. So yeah, turn that off. But when I'm riding, I feel very much sat in the bike. Now if you've ridden a multitude of different bikes, you'll know there's a difference between some where you're sat in it and some where you're sat on it. And now my GSA, I'd say I feel sat on it. It is very tall, and sometimes I am on my tiptoes when I come to traffic lights. And then jump on this, say take off the adaptive ride height, but I'm easily flat-footed on one side, and then the riding position is very low down. I'd have to probably get a higher seat for this, because the ratio between my hip, knees and feet is just a little bit too tight for my personal liking. I think after a long day's riding, my knees would definitely feel it. Now it's a slightly unfair advantage, this GS over my GSA, because naturally there's 30-40 kilos difference. I also run usually side boxes and maybe a back box as well, along with other bags, crash bars, etc. So actually my GSA is considerably heavier than this, and you can't say the GSA is a slow bike, but I would admit you can feel the difference on the 1300 engine. It's definitely just a little bit livelier, a little bit peppier, and it's just a bit snappier off the throttle. Whereas I do notice on my GSA there is that lag, the delay between giving it full beans and going. So maybe this year I'll look at the old BHP UK and get the ECU mapped. It is still quite luggy when you're in first gear and just running on minimum revs. And one of the main observations for me is the gear changes. Now between the gearbox and the engine, the gear changes are very smooth, but it's the shifter down at the foot does feel a bit clunky. But not every quick shifter is super smooth. I remember my Yamaha MT10 stock shifter on that was crap. I put in an aftermarket shifter, got the bike remapped with an exhaust, and everything just smoothed out so much better. If I was to own a GS1300, I would definitely look at an aftermarket shifter, because let's face it, if I'm paying this much money for this bike, refinement, like I just want it all to work. I just want it all to be like, you know, shifter just doesn't give me that feeling. Now even though this is a 26 plate, we are almost at the breaking in service. So everything on this bike is nicely settled in, and the brakes are much sharper than my GSA. For those of you out there that hate on a GS and a GSA, just come and jump on one. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, because these things do pack a punch. It's an absolutely gorgeous day, and you know what? The bike is fantastic. Would I swap my 1250 GSA for a 1300 GSA? No, and I'm pretty sure I said this last year as well. If you are not coming from a 1250 and you're coming from an 1150 or a 1200, then you know what, yeah, this bike comes with so many refinements over those older generations, then absolutely this bike is worth upgrading for. The 1250, it still does everything I need, and yes, this is a little bit peppier, it looks nicer, it's got some extra gizmos like the radar and stuff, but not enough for me to upgrade my 1250 just yet. And like I said in the video, if you've never tested a GS or a GSA, you got to do it. You got to. You can't badmouth us GSA owners until you've tested one of these. Everything's stock about it, even down to the exhaust. But you know what, it sounds nice, it sounds grunty even without an aftermarket exhaust on it. If you do want to come and test out this exact motorbike, then head over to Dick Lovett Motorrad in Bristol. As always, thank you very much for them for lending this to me. It's going to be interesting to see what BMW do for the 2027s to improve this. As always guys, thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, I'll see you on the next one.